So Misty was struggling for over a decade in what she calls the home biz quicksand before she started researching, learning from, and interviewing top earners to learn their exact systems for growing their business to create their dream lifestyles without getting burnt out. So as a former systems analyst, it didn't take her long to realize that it all boils down to having solid systems and implementing consistently. But not just any systems, which is why Misty loves to peel back the curtain so that entrepreneurs don't have to waste the time and as much time figuring it all out like she did when she started the journey. So just to give you some context on Misty's community, Misty uses her free Life Ninjas community as a place for entrepreneurs to link arms, share ideas, support each other, and help each other get unstuck. Her paid membership, Life Ninja Academy, also has a community component that's hosted in Heartbeat and provides exclusive access to other threads, docs, and events. So correct me if I'm wrong, Misty, but today you're going to be showing us Life Ninja Academy, correct?
I'm actually going to show both.
Oh, awesome. Okay, amazing. Without further ado, Misty, take it away.
Hey, thank you so much for this lovely introduction. I'm really excited to have you all here. I'm honored to be the very first What's in the Sauce. How cool is that? And just to share what I've been building in my Heartbeat community. So as Bree said, I am a tools, tech, and systems junkie, nerd, whatever you want to call me. It's totally my jam to help entrepreneurs, like probably most of you, fast track your results and get your biz optimized. So instead of stressing you out, it helps you, achieve those big, scary, God-sized dreams of yours. And, with your permission, I do have a couple of resources I will share at the end to help you with your communities, as you're creating and all of that good stuff. So let me see if I can share my screen properly here. I have two windows, so I always have to make sure I'm sharing the right one. Okay, can you see the slideshow?
Yes.
We're good. Okay, awesome. All right. Let me move Zoom out of the way a little bit here. Okay, so here's what we are going to talk about today. Just move this over here. So we're going to talk about why I moved to Heartbeat. I'll just do a quick community walkthrough and I'll do some behind the scenes setup. And then I'll share with you some resources and Q&A. I have no idea if I can keep this to 20 minutes. So bear with me if I can't. Let me see if I can minimize. No, that'll take me too long to find. Okay, so first, why we moved. I actually created a doc for this. I'm trying to get this toolbar out of the way. There we go. So right in my community, I'm telling everybody why, why are we here? So to give you some quick background, I did have my communities hosted in Facebook groups for several years, but I've noticed quite a shift with Facebook. It's very pay to play now. Nobody's seeing notifications that they actually want. If you join a group, you're often missing things because Facebook doesn't really show you what you want to see all the time, unfortunately. And I wasn't really getting any engagement anymore. And so I moved to Heartbeat partially for that. I also had a really bad experience where my Facebook account was hacked in the middle of the night. Somebody posted some really gross child pornography video, I believe, and their bots understandably shut down my account, but I have not been able to get my account back. And that was 6 months ago. They also just kind of allowed their bots to delete me without any human intervention. So that's kind of my story. I don't want to talk negatively about Facebook because I think that it's really a great platform in many ways. But for me, I had to find a different place to go and engage with my people because continuing to log in as my husband to run my business account really wasn't optimal, right? So that is why I switched to Heartbeat. They have so many really awesome features. You guys know all of that. One of the things I really love about Heartbeat is that it is very simple to get in and just start setting up, and you can have your community up and running within a day or two, which is awesome. And I would love for you to comment where you are at in your community building process, and maybe even share an emoji with us to let us know how it's going so far. Are you are you happy and everything's going super smooth? Or maybe you're kind of like a little stuck and confused. That's totally okay. Wherever you're at, it's totally fine. Let me see if I can find the comments again. Gotta find my Zoom window here. Okay, it is not maximizing for me. So, oh, there it is. I found it. Y'all, for real. I haven't used Zoom in so long because I was on Facebook forever. And I was using StreamYard for like everything. All right, so we got, let's see, raw and undecorous. I love that. Okay, building channels, planning to move my community from Geneva to Heartbeat in August. Okay. Few people in my groups going well so far. Really love Heartbeat. Awesome. A little stuck and overwhelmed. That's okay. We're going to try and work on that today. Planning, brainstorming, occasionally stuck. Okay. Yeah. Right. We're all kind of in that boat, right? It's a new tool. It's a new tool for a lot of us. So I'm going to try and keep it simple. I'm going to do my best to just share my setup, and in the interest of not overwhelming you, I'm not going to share every single step in my flow and dive into all of the details about every single tool, because you may not use all those same tools. And a lot of what, the entire flow really does not involve the community piece. It's just kind of like part of the whole funnel, or, something else I'm doing. So I'm going to try and stick to just what affects the community. And, I hope that you will be able to relate what I'm doing back to your own business in some way, that you'll have a takeaway that helps you, or an idea that you can go brainstorm on. I'm going to just share the high level overview, but I will break it down a bit too, so you can walk away with those ideas to go and implement in your community. So the goal, keep it simple, provide some inspiration. If your community works differently than mine, or for anyone watching the replay, if something has changed with the functionality of Heartbeat, because these awesome creators are always adding new features, that is okay. Just take what you can, brainstorm through how you can adapt it to meet your needs. It's all good. Okay, so we are going to do a quick community walkthrough. I want to make this pretty quick because if you want to dive in deeper, and I want to get into more of the behind the scenes. So if you want to dive in deeper, and then even like copy and tweak things to match your own needs, the easiest way to do that is to just join my community. It is free, and I would love to have you in there engaging, but I also will not be offended if you don't stay, and I will share the link at the end. So let me just pull up. Okay, can you guys see this as well?
Yeah, looks great.
Stuck on just my slides. Okay, cool.
Also, your outfit is very on brand for your community right now, and
Thank you.
I feel really good about
Isn't
it.
that funny? Yeah, I've been moving more to this yellow color, and I'm like, maybe I should also just dress that way sometimes. Okay, so this is my community. I have the intro channel. I call it New Ninjas because my group is Life Ninjas, and Life Ninja Academy is my paid membership. And so I have the intro thread. You'll see in here that I am doing some thread headers. I know that Heartbeat's going to be working on giving us some dimensions that they suggest, and maybe like redesigning this a little. So I'm sure this might change, but for now, this is how I'm doing. I have a pinned post at the top of each channel, and then something about that channel or some resources that will help them. In the intros, I actually did put my own introduction in here. So there it is. I'm a cookie dough sneaker, so we got this nice gift here of the cookie dough. And I'm just using that as an opportunity to let people get to know me as well, if they'd like, and so that it doesn't get buried way at the bottom under hundreds and hundreds of other posts. And then I also have my start here. I keep going back and forth as to whether I want that to be actually what people come into when they first come in, or the intros thread. So I'm kind of testing both ways. This one, I also have, this is like a read-only channel. And right now there's a little bug with when you pin a post and you don't have a second post, it kind of messes up the image. So I split this into two different posts. I'm basically giving them resources, right? And some of this might change as well, as they're going to be adding an area on the sidebar where we can add our own links, which is awesome. Can't wait for that. And I'm giving them a way they can get more help, ways they can get, more from me. So right up front, I'm like plugging links to things to help them out. So always be giving people a way to get more from you, right? If they want to get more resources, get more engagement, whatever it is, you can be pointing them to all of your amazing stuff right here in your community. We have announcements, and I'm just saying keep on your notifications here. And then this is like a read-only channel, so I'm using that to post my different announcements. Got the discussion board, basic, I'm sure like everybody's going to have at least that in their channels. I have been testing out doing a daily sort of affirmation or quote or something, and that's been going really well. So I have these images, they're all the same. I just am changing the text on them. I had my VA do it. It was really quick and easy. And then I'm just expanding on the text that's in there. And I've been getting really good feedback from doing that. I've got a getting unstuck. So this would be like your questions or no stupid questions type thread. So where people can come in and ask their getting unstuck type of questions. And I took this one from the Heartbeat community. This is my meta channel to kind of, start sharing like what's working, not working, get people's feedback on the community itself, just to let them put their feedback right in here, things they want to see more of, less of, that type of thing. And then I have these different interest threads that are tied to my group setup, which I will show you later. And then down here is my paid membership. So yours would be probably different from mine, but they have their own discussion area. I've got a spot for their links to access all their other stuff that they get, and announcements and different things that we're doing. And then I thought I would show, I'm not really using courses yet. I have tested possibly using them for like master classes or 5-day challenges, but I'm not, as of right now, using like paid courses or anything like that. So I'm going to kind of skip over that for now, but I'm sure we'll provide some some feedback and resources once I get in there and start diving into that. Okay, the docs area, we just have kind of some basic onboarding type docs, how to get started. I went ahead and put my welcome video right in here, and then I took and adapted this off of what Heartbeat provided to us, put my own screenshots and whatnot. We've got rules, and I have, this is kind of what Heartbeat provided down here. And then I also had kind of like a, calling it the less legal sounding community rules up at the top, just to kind of keep it more light. And this is what I have as my code of conduct when they do their onboarding. I showed you the why we moved. I also put in some terminology. So I feel like there's some confusion sometimes around some of the like what we're calling things. And then I also have my little Mistyisms, and I'll just keep adding to that as I think of things that I say a lot, so people can come and see what all that means. And then I have all these community how-tos. I don't know if you want me to walk through all of them, but I do have these all of this in my templates pack as well. So I've got how to bookmark the community, how to use the mobile app, how to get it and use it. Got a little video walkthrough of all the mobile app features, some FAQs for the mobile app, how to edit your profile, how to invite a friend. Like, let's teach our people how to invite more people, right? How to join a live event, whether it's Zoom or not Zoom, because I'll be probably sometimes doing some maybe like StreamYard or YouTube or something like that. How to change your notification settings, how to manage your group, which groups you're in. I've got one for keyboard shortcuts, so how they can kind of get in and do some different things, just click through the keyboard. How to use the search bar, because I did not even realize how awesome this search bar is until Murtaza showed it in some meeting we were in, and I was like, wait a minute, you can do that. So I'm teaching them how to maximize their search bar usage. The custom emojis, because I want them to use my custom emojis. So I'm showing them how they can react using custom emojis. And also, because once they add in affiliate linking, I'm planning to affiliate link to Heartbeat everywhere I can, teaching them like how they can go and create their own community. Like maybe they like my group and they're like, hey, maybe I should have one of these too. So I'm teaching them or giving them links for how they can do that. And then some of my resources around creating a community right here. And then my paid group has some resources as well. So that is my quick as I can community walkthrough. Like I said, I will point you to some other amazing resources that I have for you at the end. Okay, so this is how I have my groups set up. And Bree, feel free to chime in if there's any question I need to hit as we're going through, but otherwise we'll do it at the end. And I can't see the comments right now, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So this is how I have my group set up. Joinable, basically, in case you're not quite sure, means that no matter what group they came in through, they have the ability to join or unjoin from their group's management area. So I'm actually thinking about with my free group, which is Ninjapreneurs, this is like, I want everybody in this group. I have that set as joinable, which means they can unjoin it. And I don't really want them to do that. So I'll probably change this and just test it to make sure it's still working for everybody. But everybody comes in on this group. So I would recommend like playing around with how you want that set up if you have a free group. But I also have my interest groups. I have those set as not joinable, and that is just at the parent level, the group that is called interest groups. So that way they are automatically added to it if they join a subgroup, but they can't just go and join the group interest groups and then not be in an actual interest group, if that makes sense. So the subgroups I've got, and I'll keep adding to this. My group is like brand new in Heartbeat. So I'm waiting to see what people want. So I know that I have network marketers, I have bloggers, I have coaches, and I'm starting to get a lot of Heartbeat members in there as well. So I just got some requests to add a Heartbeat thread in my community. So I've got another group for Heartbeat community managers. Like I said, all that's joinable. And then my Life Ninja Academy members, that's my paid group that is not joinable. And my Life Ninjas team, obviously not joinable. I would have to manually add someone to that or send them their own special invite link. Okay, so this, I'm going to talk through the free community first. This is just like an overview of my flow. So we will dive into this a little bit deeper. So discovery, this is like how people come into my community, right? Wherever they find me, Pinterest, YouTube, Google, my blog, my course site, my opt-in freebies, if they purchased a product from me and they got an email, right? Training that I'm doing like this is like, how do they find out about my group? And then I'm using a redirect link, which I've created with a WordPress plugin called Redirection. There's another popular one called Pretty Links. When they click that link, they are directed to either join the community or log into the community. And at that point, I'm using Zapier to kick off and tag them in my email autoresponder. If you're not familiar with Zapier, do not fret. I will try to explain that a little bit more in a bit. So this is what my invitation link looks like. And it is just the user role, and which is like everyone who's not an admin or a moderator, they're a user. And the Ninjapreneurs, which is my free group. So everybody comes in through this link if they're joining the free community first. And this link is only used on a button on my landing page, which looks like this. So I don't share the invite link anywhere. It's not public anywhere. I don't send it out in emails. I am only sending them this redirect link, and I'm doing that to future-proof in case something changes. I know that Heartbeat is thinking about or possibly going to, I know there's a feature request for a landing page of some sort that prompts them, you know, where they can join or log in. And that's not available right now. So I just made my own. But if they create one and I can use it for my needs, then I will just change what the redirect link is pointing to. So instead of coming to this page that I've created, it would go to the new Heartbeat landing page, for example. And I won't need to go and change it in like 100 million different places where I've shared my link out. So I will only need to change it in one place in my WordPress plugin. So I'm just trying to kind of future proof. And this page, basically, I'm using this as a prompt for them to either join or log in, depending on where they're at in the flow. And I'm taking the opportunity to explain to them the value that's in my community and who it's for. So if it's not for them, they don't waste their time joining, right? And if it is for them, they're like, ooh, I'm excited. I definitely want that, right? And then they come and join. This is so I told you earlier that I'm using Zapier for part of my process. So for my courses and my email autoresponder, I use a tool called Kartra, which is an all-in-one like course platform and email autoresponder. It does some other things as well. Just kind of all mixed in together. And then Zapier is the tool that I use to make Heartbeat and Kartra talk to each other and trigger certain actions to happen. So let me know if that's confusing and doesn't make sense. But for my free community, I currently only have one Zap set up. So when a new member joins into my Heartbeat community, the Zap kicks off within like a few minutes and tags them as a community member in Kartra. So if you're using something like ConvertKit or MailerLite, it's the same thing. You can tag them so that you kind of know that they've joined your community without having to go and export your list from Heartbeat separately. You can just kind of set Zapier up to tag them in your autoresponder, which is super cool. And then I don't have this set up yet, but I need to very soon. I'm going to have it also kick off an email welcome sequence that I'm going to use to, get them more engaged, kind of like what Heartbeat is doing when we join the Hearth, right? So get them more engaged, kind of set the expectations for how they should engage in the community, get them excited about different features and whatnot, and just try to get them coming back into the community so they don't just join and then forget about it, right? Because it's not Facebook that they're logging into every day and used to that habit. So this is how I have my onboarding set up, and it's probably really similar to what was the default. I can't remember what the questions were on there, but for the questions, I just have like, tell us about yourself. What are you great at? And where can you help other people? Because I want them to take a moment to like talk themselves up a little bit. And what's one big win that you've had over the last couple of weeks? And then I'm hitting them with like, if you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing in your business, what would it be? And the reason is because I help people get unstuck with their business, right? And so that gives me an opportunity, because this is all going into my new Ninjas intro thread. That gives me an opportunity to comment and, give them props for that big win that they had, or like, hey, that's awesome that you help people with this. So-and-so also joined the community. Maybe y'all can get together. Like, I'm trying to find ways to get some good interaction going right when they join. And then since they've now just told me what the biggest problem is in their business, I can point them to a resource that I have, or give them like a quick win kind of a tip and get them excited for like, oh, this lady's providing some value, right? And then also, what are your preferred pronouns, which I don't know, one day might become like a drop-down box we could do. I know there's a feature request for that, but for now I just have it as a question, which I must say some people don't understand, and I've gotten some really funny answers for that, but that's all right. And then this is just like the second, I couldn't fit everything into one screenshot and have you be able to see it all. So I'm allowing them to join interest groups right then and there, so they can multi-select whichever groups make sense for them. And like I said, I have that posting into the intros channel. And this is just the social links. I'm doing a welcome video, and the rules doc is my code of conduct. Okay, and then this is how I have my setup on my threads that are for everyone to access. So if I want everyone to have access, I have it set as default channel, that's turned on, which means everyone is just going to see it by default when they join the community. So that piece is easy peasy. For the interest group only threads, like this screenshot is the network marketing tips thread, I have it set as, let's see, the default channel is turned off, private channel is turned off, and I have the access set to only like me, the actual interest group that needs to see it, and mods and admins. So that is how you do that. feel free to screenshot anything as well if you need to. I know I'm moving kind of fast, but we'll have a replay if you need to like pause and stuff. Okay, so in the doc section, this is for like the section that everybody should have access to again. So this is like, you can't set the individual docs right now to have specific access. You have to put them within a section, and the section is what determines the access. So I have that set for limiting the access. I have right now where only admins can edit. I might change that later to let my mods edit some docs, but for right now, I don't need that for my business. And then, so I've got mods set to view and users set to view. Okay, so this is my flow for my paid membership community. So the way that someone would come into my paid community is by first going to my sales page over in Kartra for my Life Ninja Academy membership.
Oh,
and from there, what's
sorry,
that?
Real quick, because you're transitioning to the paid community now, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to pause really quick and ask if there's any questions about the free community, just since you shared so many good details.
I know that was a lot, right? I'm probably like hitting you all with a fire hose, but
no, it's so
trying
good.
hard, and I know it's like almost time to be up, and I'm not done yet. But
no,
hopefully some of you can stick around a little longer.
Come at us. I know Jason has his hand up. So Jason, do you want to come off mute and let us know what your question is?
Yeah, it's not really a question about the free community. I was just more curious about the integration that you've got with Carta. So you might get to that in the next section. I'm not sure. I'm just curious in terms of, are you using Carta for your courses only, or are you using the Heartbeat courses as well?
Yeah, so I have, and I had all this set up long before I joined Heartbeat, but I have Kartra set up for all of my courses. I'm actually using Searchy. They have a Searchy Hubs, which can kind of function for courses. It's for like video courses really, or like a membership that has a lot of videos in it. So I'm actually using that for the membership content for my paid membership. As Heartbeat adds new features, I may think about if there's a way, because I know they're adding HTML embed and different things. So I may have a way to like pull that over and just use Heartbeat for the content piece as well. But for now, I'm using that for my content because it's a lot of video, and Searchy has some really amazing video features. And then I'm using Heartbeat just for my community right now. But I am planning to probably do some like master classes and 5-day challenges that would be set up probably in the courses area of Heartbeat. And I love that if I want to do something more in depth or, whatever, I can actually add the payment feature on there super easy. So that's really awesome.
Thanks. I've got another LMS that I've got that I'm just trying to figure out how it all integrates together, because that one allows way more than what Heartbeat can do. And it's not a criticism. It's just that they're a little bit more sophisticated platform with, scenarios and SCORM and all that kind of stuff that goes with some of the more sophisticated ones. I just want to figure out a way to be able to kind of integrate the two. So that's kind of why I was asking.
Yeah, it kind of just depends on how you want to do your setup, but you can definitely anywhere inside your courses, just link over to your community. You could do a redirect link like I have where it sends them to that landing page to, or you can just say join here or, visit the community here or log in here and have 2 separate links in there. Awesome. I know there are some feature requests for like being able to embed Heartbeat into a course site. So, fingers crossed one day, that would be awesome.
Thanks for all of that.
Yeah, sure.
And David and Irma, I think y'all had are we going to get David? Are we going to get Irma? We don't know.
It's David. It's David.
Hey, David.
Hey there. So first of all, Misty, thank you very much. I've been following you on your YouTube channel, and it's always bombastic. I love I said it earlier, I love your delivery and your personality. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet.
So going back to the landing pages, I have a bit of a doubt because I think that the idea is amazing. mostly too because of that maintenance that you mentioned. You know, if anything changes, it's just at one place.
Mhm.
So it's just that one page, and then you are adding the invite links to the button?
Yes.
Or
So the join button is the invite link, and that's the only
okay,
place I'm putting the
perfect.
invite link. And then
Perfect.
the
Okay.
login button is just taking to like my community landing page where they're probably already, you know, logged in if it's like me, where it's just I'm logged in everywhere all the time. But if they're not like me, it would prompt them to get their magic link or whatever in their email, and they'd be able to get in.
Perfect. Thank you very much for clarifying that.
Sure.
Awesome. And then Ms. Terry, AKA Queen Geek.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey, Misty. So this is a geek question, you know, my fellow.
Yeah.
So like you, I'm using another platform. I have Kajabi. I even have ThriveCart. So if your content is primarily on on Searchy, what are you using Kartra for?
My paid membership content is in Searchy. All my courses and paid products that are separate from the membership are all in Kartra. I'm also using it because you can do like all your sales pages. My storefront page is there. So basically everything.
So the
Everything
the membership specifically is in Searchy, but your courses and sale pages and
so I'm using Kartra as my funnel pages are in Kartra and they're paying through Kartra. But after they join, you'll see this in a minute here too, but they'll get like a welcome email that directs them to access everything they need. So their courses are in Kartra, but I have like a lot of video content that's just out in Searchy, and Searchy just kind of pulls it all together really nicely for me. And I run them through a whole like membership welcome series and foundational training and like the whole success path for what our membership teaches and that kind of thing. And that's just all inside Searchy.
Okay. All right.
I could use Kartra for all of that. It was just for me in the moment for implementing, it was really fast to set up in Searchy. And so that just worked better for me in the moment for getting it done.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Jason had a follow-up question. What is Searchy?
Searchy is a video hosting platform. I started using it because I did not love to put YouTube videos in my courses because it, you know, there's always like the list of suggested other videos to watch at the end, and you can't really customize the YouTube player all that much. So I wanted them to just kind of be focused on where they were at if I was to embed those videos elsewhere. It also does screen share recording like Loom. So it has a Loom type of a browser extension. And it also adds transcriptions to all of your videos, which is really cool. And then now they have their hubs, it does allow you to do like video courses or have like a membership kind of landing area as well.
Sweet. Thanks. Awesome. I think that's everything. David, let me know if you have another question. I think maybe your hand was just still raised, but Misty, if you want to proceed for the paid membership. And y'all, I totally respect if you have to hop off. We're going to keep this recording just because it's so good and I want to have all of this documented. So stay on if you can. If you can't, hop on to the recording and you can catch the rest of it.
I will try to hurry to respect your time.
You're the first. We might have to make these an hour. So.
Right? I'm like, oh, I don't know how to cut this down and actually share everything I want to share. Okay, so the way that someone would come into my paid community is first going to my sales page, which is over in Kartra. They would pay, and I use an external payment processor. The primary reason is just because I had all this already set up before Heartbeat just implemented their payments stuff, and it's just easier to leave it that way, honestly. So that's just how I have it set up, which might mean that your setup could be different from mine if you're using Heartbeat payments. And then I have an email or a couple emails actually that go out, welcome emails. And the first welcome email that they get has an invite link for those who are not already in the community. So it actually says like if you're already a member of the community, just wait a few minutes and then your access will be added automatically inside the community to your, LNA specific stuff, the paid membership stuff. If you are not already a member of the community, like click here, and that is the invite link. And that is the only place I'm sending them the invite link for this paid membership. So again, if something changes or I have to change that invite link for any reason, I only have to go to this one spot and change it. And that's just me having bad past experience with not using redirects or putting links out all over the place and then having to change them. So that's why I do that. And then, so as you can see on the picture, if they are an existing Heartbeat member, I am using Zapier to just add them to that group. If they are a brand new member, they're joining via that invite link. Okay, so this is what my invitation link setup looks like. I blurred out the code, so I didn't have to go change this after this presentation. But I'm just adding them to the user permissions, adding them to Ninjapreneur, so same as the free link, but then I'm also adding them to the Life Ninja Academy members paid group. Okay, and then I have 2 Zaps that kick off with Zapier when someone joins the paid membership. The first one searches to see if they are already a member in Heartbeat. So they join LNA, the paid membership. The Zap runs, it says, is this person, it's searching by their email address. Are they already in Heartbeat? If they are, then it's adding them to the paid group inside of Heartbeat. Super simple. And then the second Zap searches to see if they're actually an active paying member when they've clicked this invite link and run through the join process. If they are, they get tagged as a member of the paid group in my email autoresponder. So for me, that's Kartra. For you, that could be ConvertKit or something like that. So it's tagging them with a tag. And I can't remember if I mentioned this in the free one, but they're also getting a tag if they're in the free community. So they're getting tagged as like they're in the community, and then they're also getting tagged that they're in the paid community. And the reason I have it doing that is because I want to eventually start sending out emails occasionally that say like, hey, you're a student or you're a member of this paid membership, but you haven't joined the community yet. Like, hey, do you want to go, you might want to go join, right? So you can get the full benefits of your membership. So this is how I'm kind of segmenting that out. And it's just like a reminder, right? If they are not an active member, they are removed from that tag and they are removed from the paid group in Heartbeat because they should not have been clicking on that invite link, right? So this is like a fail safe so that somebody doesn't cancel their membership and then later they go and open that welcome email and they're like, oh, maybe I can still get in and try to join, right? I don't know why people would do that, but I just feel like there would be a chance that could happen. So it's just kind of like a little fail safe that I have set up. And then I have one other Zap right now for if somebody cancels their paid membership, they are automatically removed from the paid group in Heartbeat and removed from that tag that I gave them. So I'm not showing them as a community member in my email autoresponder. Hopefully that makes sense. This is actually really nice to have because before I was having to manually go and hunt them down in Facebook. And sometimes people like change their last name or they're using a different email address. And it was like a big, annoying ordeal. And this just automates the whole thing, which is super cool. Okay, so this is how I have my threads set up. If I only want my paid members to have access to that. So I've turned off the default channel so that free members aren't automatically added to that thread. And it's set as a private channel, so no one can discover it. Yours might be different if you're using Heartbeat payments. You probably want them to discover it, see that they could like buy in right there because there's an upsell page you can have. And so yours might be different than mine if you're using Heartbeat payments, but this is how mine is set up. And then I'm just giving the paid membership group administrators and mods, myself, access to those threads. And then for the doc sections, I am limiting, again, for just admins to edit, moderators to view, and then just the one group to be able to view those docs. So they get their own doc section for just those members. Okay, and then I have just a few bonus tips and we can move on to Q&A and whatnot. So first, just don't overthink it. You know, just get in and do it. Don't let yourself get stuck. Go share in the Hearth, or you can ask in my community if you have a question. Just keep moving forward. Don't overcomplicate it. Also, keep everything congruent. I recently rebranded, and using the same colors and fonts everywhere that I can really helps with that brand recognition of your audience. I mean, you heard Bree like, oh, your shirt matches your yellow, right? Like you want that. You want people to do that. And then also you can create a test email address. So you can just do like your email plus test at, if it's Gmail or your own domain or whatever. You can just add that plus, and then any word really, you could put a 1 instead of test or something like that. I've got, you know, Misty plus test 1 at Gmail, or, you know, at mistydorman.com, and then I'll add test 2, and I'll just keep testing things. I'll have like 6 different test emails. You can do that, and then share your invite link, or, you know, use the invite link in an incognito window and walk through your own onboarding and just test that everything is set up and you can see what you're supposed to see and you don't see what you're not supposed to see, and all that good stuff. So I highly recommend just testing, and, you know, use a test email address, and then you can always remove yourself later from those groups, so you don't have that account sitting out there. So these are some resources that I have for you to help you speed up your own onboarding. So I do have a templates pack, and you can grab all of my docs that you saw me walk through earlier in template form, tweak it, plug and play into your own community. I am going to start adding massive value into this templates pack probably over the next few weeks, and probably raise the price as well. So now is a really good time to get in if that resource can help you. I'm going to add probably a deeper dive into my exact Zapier setup. I might get some other people from the community to come and share some of their setups in there as well. I'm going to have Canva templates for those thread headers and my actual pinned post text for every thread. And I've got a few more things up my sleeve after that. So if that can help you, please go and grab that. I also have a YouTube playlist, as was mentioned before. So I've started creating some heartbeat how-to videos, and some of them are for like general community members, but it might be stuff you didn't know how to do. I don't know. And some are for community managers as well. So feel free to check that out. And then, like I said, if you just want to come and spy on my community or just join a group of awesome entrepreneurs, I invite you to come and check out the Life Ninjas community as well. So if you guys have any more questions, I mean, I'm here to answer. But that's it. I hope that's I hope that covers most of what you are hoping to see today. Let me know if there's something else.
That's so wonderful. Thank you, Misty. I'm going to open it up for questions. So feel free to raise your hand or type it into the chat. I'm going to like get these links and pull them in here, Misty, so people can quickly access them, because your templates pack is phenomenal, so helpful. And I know a lot of people here probably already even plowed through your YouTube playlist. So
I'm trying to help where I can. Like if I start seeing a lot of questions on something, I'm usually like, I'm just gonna make a video on this.
Amazing. So helpful. And I loved Ms. Terry added for when you create the test Gmail account, also testing it in an incognito browser so that you know for sure you're not logged in your other accounts. That's a great extra pro tip. Jason asked, is there a coupon code for the templates for that $10 off?
No, it's just on there. Okay. There'll be like a timer on that page, and then when it expires, it goes to the regular price.
Great. Awesome. Lynette asks, how would you suggest is the best way to deliver PDF download to a paid membership?
To a paid membership. So I like to use Google Drive a lot. I use it for everything. So I personally, I would put it in Google Drive and then link to it there. You could create a redirect link to it if you want, or you can just link straight to it. And then I would just share that wherever you need to have that resource. So like I showed you that my paid community has its own threads and I have a little link section for helpful links. I would just maybe put it there. When they add the custom links to the sidebar that you can do, you could add it there. If you're putting it inside a course, you could add it there. But that's how I would do it. You could even create like a little picture that looks like a button they click that says like download here, you know, and maybe add that image. And I don't know if can you add a link on an image? I can't remember, but I'm sure when we get all the HTML embed stuff, you'll be able to do all kinds of fancy things.
Awesome. Well, it looks like that's what we've got for this. Oh, Lynette says thank you. Awesome. Misty, thank you so much for joining us, for just trailblazing with our very first What's in the Sauce. I hope,
Thanks for asking me.
Thanks. I hope you all feel inspired because, you know, sometimes you can look at incredible communities like what Misty has created and feel like, well, they just got lucky, or maybe it was a timing thing, or like, what are all these mystical elements? And that's our whole goal with this series, is to say, you know, it's not rocket science. It's not mystical or magical. I mean, we do like to sprinkle a little bit of magic, but it's just ingredients in a recipe. And when you follow this process, when you set up the right systems, which is exactly what your community is about. So I love it. There's so many synchronicities. Misty, thank you.
You know what? It is hard work, right? You do have to put a little elbow grease to create a whole new community, unless you have a VA that can just kind of do it all for you. Or like if you have a Brie, like we all need a Brie in our lives, I think. But you know, it does take some work, and you know, we can't really sugarcoat that. But there are ways to fast track it and make it easier. And whatever resources I can provide to do that, I'm happy to do that as I can.
So awesome. I need a Brie too. So, all right. Everyone, thank you for joining. We'll see you.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
And catch you all in the mastermind tomorrow. All right.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.